Welcome to the Susan Brender Show. It's all about you. Featuring shows on health and wellness, the performing arts, politics, and people who inspire you to be your very best. And now, here's Susan Brender.
I'm Susan Brender, and this is the Susan Brender Show. Today, my guest is Debbie McLaughlin. She's the owner of a spa and a licensed esthetician at Face and Body Bar in Winter Springs, Florida. Debbie changed careers in her 50s and is now enjoying life by helping her clients achieve healthy, glowing skin. Now, I think it speaks for itself, but let's talk to Debbie a little bit more about it. Now, Debbie, sometimes people really have to take care of themselves psychologically. They have to see a shrink, quote unquote, or they have to, just take care of all the little things that really bother them, getting rid of stress, that sort of thing. And also, you need to take care of themselves psychologically, rather physically. So is taking care of your skin part of a program that can reduce stress or make you feel good?
Oh, absolutely, Susan. It's all of that. So, and they have done studies about how self-confidence and self-esteem is linked to physical appearance. And it really makes a difference because we all know when you look good, you feel good.
That's right.
Okay? And it's really important for self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't really have the energy to take care of others, I do believe.
Yeah.
And just like the old adage where they say, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Right.
And also when you're on the airplane and the oxygen mask comes down, they always say, please put it on yourself first so that you are then able to take care of your children.
There you go.
And so I really do think self-care is important. And getting facials and massage are just one way of getting through life.
Yeah, I understand completely because if I had any opportunity to get a massage or a facial, you can bet I'll do it. Now, let's talk about it as an extravagance. Some people say, oh, a massage, that's an extravagance. A facial, that's an extravagance. What do you say to that?
Well, some people do think that, but honestly, it really is not for only the rich and famous. It really is for everyone because we have environmental factors that affect our skin. And we have sun exposure, we have dirt and grime and the pollutants in the air. And really, you need to get a good deep pore cleansing, and that will help so that your products then will penetrate better into the skin. But really, it is not an extravagance. There's so many benefits to facials and massage. It gets the lymphatic system going, which we all need. And exfoliation is really, really important. There is a great buildup of dead skin cells on top of the epidermis, and we need to slough off those dead skin cells so that we can have that healthy, glowing skin. So it's not just for people who have a ton of money, really. It's for everyone.
I hear you. Now, what about men? It seems that women will go for massages very readily, and so will they do facials. But men, if you ask a man to go for a facial, what do you think he's going to say?
Well, a lot of them are not used to it, believe it or not. But I do have male clients that come here for facials because men want to look good too.
Yeah.
And I just had someone call me yesterday, actually, and it was a gentleman, and he said, I'm 55 years old. I've never taken care of my skin, but I'm noticing I don't like how my skin looks anymore. Can you help me?
There you go.
So it's just things like that. And I have a funny little story. I had a client who was a woman, and she loved her facials, and she said, my husband, I really think, would like this, but he's never had one before. And I said, well, bring him in,
Sure.
So we did the facial. I did a little facial massage on him, And at the very end, I said, okay, so how did you enjoy your first facial? And he looked at me and he said, God bless your hands, Miss Debbie.
That's wonderful.
So I loved it.
I'm sure you did. And you know what I say to some of the people who give me a massage or do a facial on me? I say, you have golden hands.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. You have golden hands. Now, I want to get a little more technical, if we may. You mentioned the epidermis. Now, let's talk a little bit about the physical side of your face. Okay, give us an understanding a little bit more of what's going on.
Well, there are 3 major layers of your skin, and the epidermis is your top layer, and then we have the dermis, and that is where the collagen and the elastin are, which are very important protein fibers that give our skin the elasticity. And then, of course, there's the fatty layer, the subcutaneous layer. And as an esthetician, though, we are only licensed to treat the epidermis. Okay? Yes. Unless, you're working in a plastic surgeon's office or a dermatologist office and you have an MD on staff, then you can go a little deeper into the dermis. But here's what I believe. I believe in slow and gradual wins the race. A lot of people want to go to the dermatologist or the plastic surgeon and they want a deep peel, like a chemical peel. Right. But this really does damage your skin, and it does get down into the dermis, but you have to be practically locked up in your house for a week. Oh. And you will shed like a snake, and of course you're getting rid of a lot of dead skin. But I like to go in a spa setting just a little slower and more gradual with lighter chemical peels, more facials, some good skincare products, and the whole package. Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's step forward a little bit too, Debbie. You recently received your certificate in oncology aesthetics and can customize special treatments for anyone who is undergoing treatments for cancer. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, what got me started in this is I had a client that was coming to me every single month for her regular facials, and one day she came to me and said that she had breast cancer. And it was very devastating, of course. And she said to me, well, I still want to come for my monthly facials. And to be honest with you, I was a little nervous. Right. I knew that she couldn't use aggressive ingredients on the skin, but there was so much more as she was going through her chemo treatments and radiation that I needed to know. And there are programs out there that you can get your certificate in oncology aesthetics. And they go through all of the different definitions about oncology, the lymphatic system, immunology, understanding the cancer, the types, the anti-cancer drug therapy, radiation, everything, ingredients in skincare, even as far as massage, what you can massage and what you cannot, because you don't want to get that lymphatic system too much going, because then that will get the cancer cells going as well.
Wait a minute, that's very interesting.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that, because this is the first time I heard this, so I'm very interested, and I'm sure my audience will be. Talk a little bit about that treatment you were talking about.
Well, actually, if they have lymph nodes removed, okay, you really should not massage anywhere in that area. And so as a regular layman, I would not know that. Right. So just by getting certified in it, and these people, they need human touch. They need some pampering. They need to come and relax and they also have very, very dry, dehydrated skin. And it could be flaky. And some of the ingredients that we use are just so emollient and very gentle, nothing strong on their skin.
Right. Speaking of products, it seems to me that there's been a lot of controversy over some products, and people used to use, for example, pond cream, which was part of my mother's generation, and it was cheap.
Yeah.
It was seemingly effective, but today there's products that are coming out of France, they're coming out of Europe and from different countries, and they're very expensive. So you know about products. So can you give our audience a little understanding of whether or not you could use a cheap product versus a very expensive one?
Yes. Now, there is a big difference between professional and over-the-counter products. And, of course, now that I'm educated in skincare and the ingredients that are out there and the efficacy, I do not recommend over-the-counter products. And there's a couple reasons why. The professional products have smaller molecules. So they are made to penetrate the skin. And that's what you want your products to do. You don't want them to just sit on the top layers of the skin. Now, some of the over-the-counter products, they boast that they have, retinol, which is the number one anti-aging ingredient. But it is so minute that it barely makes a difference. And the professional products have a higher percentage of these active ingredients.
Right.
And that's when you see the difference. Now, I'm not saying that you need to spend $450 on a night cream, okay? You don't have to do that. You just do need a little bit of research, or you go to your local dermatologist or your esthetician where they can recommend products that are specifically designed for your skin type and skin condition. So when you go to the drugstore and you're standing there looking at the 20 different shelves of skincare,
right,
you have no idea what to buy. I think we've all been there. I've been there.
Sure. No, it's true.
Yeah.
All different pharmacies want to sell everything, but I'm just continue because when you talk about products, you talk about MONEY, and that's what the corporations want. They want to sell their products, and they don't care whether you know enough about it. In fact, they they tell you this could do this to you, this could do that to you, but people don't know. They don't understand.
No, they really don't, and that's why I think estheticians really pride ourselves that we love educating our clients. All right?
Yeah.
If you have, just as a quick example, if you have very, very dry, dehydrated skin, something that you could use is an ingredient is hyaluronic acid. So usually when people hear the word acid, they get a little nervous, but honestly, our bodies produce hyaluronic acid, and it actually is a plumper, and it holds the moisture in our skin.
There you go.
So, yeah, so just when everyone comes, everyone has different skin types and conditions, and that's where we come in. We will recommend the products that are best for you.
Now, you talk about different people having different kinds of conditions. Is there a difference between, well, I'll use Americans versus Europeans versus Asians? Which one has better skin, and is it because of their diet? Is it because they take care, they don't let sun get through their skin? They watch themselves, because I think about the Japanese. They never let themselves exposed to the sun. They carry an umbrella.
Right.
So what about that?
Well, there is some truth to that, to be honest with you. A lot of people, even in Korea's girls they start on a skincare regime, like a 20-step skincare regime, when they're 8 and 10 years old. And they take care of their skin. They stay out of the sun, like you said, because the sun causes about 90% of our aging. So that's why I also preach sunscreen every single day. And, you know, we Americans, we bask in the sun.
That's right. Yeah.
I remember doing that myself with the baby oil.
Oh, sure.
You know, but yes, and even in France, you know, those women over there, they have beautiful skin because they take care of it and they stay out of the sun.
That's it. Now, what about the idea that people they take their creams and some people use like 100 what do they call it, SP, and others use
SPF.
30. Is there a difference between using one with 100 as opposed to the one with 30 or 15?
Right. So I recommend at least an SPF 30 every single day. Even if you know you're not going to the beach, you're just going to work and you're coming home, I still recommend SPF 30. Okay? You can do a 50, go up to a 50, but after 50, the percentage that it helps is maybe 4 more %. So this 70, 100, you know, you're really not getting that much more protection than a 50.
I hear you. Yeah, that's important for our audience to know because that's a question that I'm sure a lot of people ask.
Of course.
You know, it's the nature of things. Now, let's change subjects for a moment. And I see that you've changed careers later in your life, and I just wonder, can everybody do that, and can they succeed if they just say, look, it doesn't matter how old I am, I'm just going to try to do things. I'm going to be productive. I'm going to have a lot of fun. That happened to you, right?
Oh, it absolutely did. Absolutely. And I love what I'm doing right now. And I'm so much happier in life. I don't have a lot of stress anymore. You know, there are no deadlines. You know, you walk into a spa, it smells good. The music is relaxing. People are always happy to come see you. And like I said, when they leave, they look in the mirror, they're even happier. You know, what's not to love? And honestly, I say it is never too late, even with taking care of your skin. I know a lot of people, they'll call and they'll say, well, I'm 72 years old and I want to get rid of all my wrinkles. Is it too late? Okay. So it's never too late to take care of the skin. Never. Will it get rid of every single wrinkle as an esthetician? It's, like I said, slow and gradual, and you will see a decrease, and you will, you know, exfoliate and everything. But, you know, other than a facelift, I think that's the only thing that will get rid of wrinkles.
Speaking of facials,
I always say, let's try facials and skincare first before you go through surgery.
Well, that's what I want to ask you because, needless to say, there are so many people who are going for facelifts, and some of them look terrible when they're done, and some look great. Now,
don't they?
Yeah, I mean, look at Jane Fonda. She was amazing after she facelift. But what do you think of that? I mean, do you recommend to people that they should have facelifts, or is it something that you don't think you need to do?
Well, I think it's up to the individual. So I like to say, let's start with facials and the massage, getting those muscles trained. We can do microcurrent, which actually trains the muscle to lift. It's like working out for your muscles in your face. Let's do that. Let's get on some retinol products, you know, to slough off the dead skin cells. And, you know, people come and ask me also about Botox and fillers.
Okay, tell us.
And everyone has different opinions about that as well. I am not personally a huge fan of Botox because it is a toxin, period. But there are many, many, many people who get the Botox, and it does get rid of the wrinkles, mostly, you know, the 11 lines in between the eyes and the lines on your forehead and the lines around your eyes.
Right.
And that is a personal choice.
Right.
Now, the fillers usually can be used on the bottom half of the face, and they are mostly hyaluronic acid fillers. So hyaluronic acid works with your own body. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
And that is instantaneous. You get the filler, it fills the lines, it plumps them up, and they'll last for 9 months to a year, each injection.
Yeah.
We don't do those here. Of course, you have to have an MD or a nurse practitioner on staff.
Right, right. Now, it seems that there are tips. You've told people a lot about their face and their skin and how to take care of it, but I know that you have 5 easy steps for healthy glowing skin. So what are those?
Oh, yes. And it really is simple. A lot of people get overwhelmed on how to take care of their skin, but there are just 5 easy steps. So the first one is to cleanse, all right? And the most important time of the day is to do it in the evening. Even if you don't wear makeup, you should cleanse the skin because of all of the, the dirt and the pollutants and the sweat, and our skin rejuvenates itself at night. So it's really important to have a beautiful, clean skin before you go to bed. And I always say, no soap. Soap is a dirty 4-letter S word in my book.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Soap is alkaline, and it strips your protective acid mantle. Okay? So you always want to use, depending on your skin type, if you are more on the oily side, you want to use a gel-based cleanser. If you're on the drier side, you want to use a lotion cleanser. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, many people skip this step, and it's adding a serum. Okay? Serums are targeted for specific issues that you may have, whether it's pigmentation, rosacea, dry, dehydrated skin. Their molecular structure is always smaller so that it can penetrate into your skin.
Right. Anyone
can use a vitamin C serum, and that is great for, everyone. Okay, the third step is a daily moisturizer with a sunscreen. So like I said before, you can get sun damage, and especially on the left-hand side of the face, and I see it time and time again when my clients come in here, they have pigment more on their left side of their face because we are driving so much from place to place that the sun comes through the window of our car, and we need to protect that with a sunscreen. So a good daily moisturizer, even if you have oily skin, you just need a non-oily moisturizer. Okay, the fourth step is, and this is my favorite step, it's exfoliation. And there are 2 types. Physical, which is usually with some kind of exfoliating beads or granules, and then chemical, which are enzymes or acids. And I love a good enzyme exfoliation mask because they break down the substance that holds your dead skin cells together. And I recommend exfoliating once a week with a good mask, and then once a week with an exfoliator, like an exfoliating beads.
Right. Okay.
And then the last step is the repair process. So this is something that you want to target either your fine lines and wrinkles or your pigmentation. You want to use a nice night cream. And the one that I recommend is, of course, with retinol, which is the best anti-aging ingredient out there.
What about vitamin E? Because they say vitamin E helps the skin a lot.
Oh, yeah, vitamin E is great. Vitamin C, even with green tea. But vitamin E actually protects the cell membranes from oxidative damage, and it prevents collagen from being destroyed as well. And it works beautifully in conjunction with vitamin C. So those are great antioxidants as well.
Well, my guest today has been Debbie McLaughlin, who owns a spa and is a licensed esthetician, and she really sounds like an MD. She knows so much about the skin and so much about everything that can help the skin. So I want to thank Debbie McLaughlin for being on the Susan Brender Show. And you know what, Debbie? You should write a little book because you just know so much. And
you're so sweet.
I think it's true. And so thank you very much for being on the Susan Brender Show, Debbie McLaughlin.
Susan, thank you for having me. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you for listening to the Susan Brender Show. To be a guest, email sebrender@yahoo.com.